For this lesson, we're still looking at Standard 7, evaluating key political, social, and economic changes that occurred in Georgia between 1877 and 1918. For Lesson 2, we're going to focus on Henry Grady and the International Cotton Exposition. As you watch the video, you can work on your tip chart or begin working on your graphic organizer. Who would you most like to meet? The key questions that are associated with this lesson are: what were the differences in political views and philosophy among the following? The Bourbon Triumvirate, Henry Grady, Tom Watson, and Rebecca Latimer Felton. And what key economic developments occurred in Georgia during the years between the Civil War and World War I? Henry Grady was born in Athens, Georgia, and he's best known for his continual promotion of the New South. As managing editor of the Atlanta Journal, Grady was able to use the newspaper as a stage to promote his views concerning the industrialization of the South, the diversification of Southern agriculture, and to lobby Northern investors to help aid financially in both causes. In other words, he used his newspaper to try to get Northern people to come down here and spend their money. Grady is given credit for being instrumental in bringing the International Cotton Expositions to Atlanta and for the creation of the Georgia Institute of Technology. He is also active in local politics, assisting in elections of like-minded politicians such as John B. Gordon and Joseph E. Brown, two members of the Bourbon Triumvirate. Grady also had his critics. He was often attacked by populist Tom Watson and Georgia farmers for his industrial focus. Elected officials of Georgia's other cities, such as Athens, Augusta, and Macon, criticized Grady for his blatant bias in favor of Atlanta. Finally, many civil rights groups, both in the North and South, were leery of his inaccurate portrayal of racial relations in Georgia in order to bring in Northern investment. Nevertheless, Grady, who was a dynamic writer and speaker, has been identified as the most important figure in the New South movement. Though he only lived to the age of 39, he had several important accomplishments in his short life. Due to his achievements, Grady has been honored in several ways throughout the state, including having a county named after him, Grady Hospital, and the University of Georgia's Grady School of Journalism are all named in his honor. In 1881, 1885, and 1895, Atlanta was the site of 3 international cotton expositions. These expositions were similar to the World's Fairs held during the same time period. Primarily, the Cotton Expositions were established to promote Atlanta's rebuilding from the Civil War, its industrial capabilities and accomplishments, and again to lure Northern investment into the city and the region. The first 2 expositions were heavily promoted by Henry Grady, but the most memorable was the exposition held in 1895. During the exposition of 1895, also known as the Cotton States and International Exposition, civil rights activist and educator Booker T. Washington gave his famous Atlanta Compromise speech. This speech urged African Americans to focus on economic improvement as opposed to political and social rights, an idea that was supported by white New South advocates but not accepted by African American leaders such as W.E.B. Du Bois. Though this event was heavily promoted, according to the New Georgia Encyclopedia, only 800,000 people attended the 3-month event, and it suffered from financial struggles throughout those months. Still, all 3 of these events were effective in displaying Atlanta's rise from the ashes and to establish it as the leading city of the New South. For more information, you're going to want to go to Google Classroom and check out the links for Henry Grady and the International Cotton Exposition. I've also included a link to Henry Grady's biography, a short video on the Georgia Stories website. In addition, Booker T. Washington's Atlanta Compromise speech has been included. There's one article about the speech itself and then one website where you can actually read the speech. So now that you're finished, go back and look at your tip chart and get out that graphic organizer for who you would most like to meet and fill in the information on Henry Grady.